Welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to continue where we stopped. So where did we stop? We finished the generate text with private server method inside of the AI Manager interface, which is basically the bread and butter of the way to interact with the backend. That's the method that takes the prompt, takes a system message, and gets to send that within the request and gets the result back from JSON. And once we have that result back, we right here, we send it back to as content within the asynchronous reply here of the method signature. So now the next step is to actually call this method. And where are we going to call this method? Well, if you guys remember, we created the view controller user interface. So whenever we press the send button, we need to capture the prompt and call the method to get the result back and display it right here. Let's do this. Open the view controller, the UI view controller. And by the way, if you don't have it, you have to open the pane here and go to view controller. But for the sake of having more room, I'm just going to remove that. There we go. We have the three connections, and let's go ahead and let's create the AI Manager interface. So let's create an instance of it. We're going to do this at the top. Let's do let AI Manager is equal to AI Manager interface. And this requires an API key and a server-based URL. So the API key, since we're not using OpenAI, we don't have one, we don't need one. But the server-based URL, yes, we definitely need one. And where do we get this? Well, you guys should know by now that this is the one that we have inside of the terminal. This one, the forwarding address. Okay, so let's copy this. You can right-click and copy, or Command-V, and paste it here. There we go. Now, the next step is to actually use this AI Manager that we have, right? So if you guys remember, whenever we press the Send tab, we get the text from the input and we print it to the console. The next thing we want to do is to use this. So let me just change the name text to make it a bit more obvious and call it prompt. And there we go. So that's the text for the prompt. That's what the user is prompting. And let's create a user message as well. So let system message is equal to here always, let's see, always answer in simple words with the vocabulary of an infant of 8 years old. So very simple vocabulary, right? Okay. And next, let's make the call of the to generate the text from the private server, right? So making the network call. What do we do? AI Manager, the instance that we created here, right? Dot, and well, we only have one method, this one, the generate text with private server. Press enter. Now, what is the prompt? Obviously, the prompt is prompt. The system message is right above, the system message. And the completion, okay, for the completion, we have to switch on the result. So what I can do here is actually, let me remove this and just do open a curly brace, close the curly brace, there we go, it's closed. And here we're gonna do result in, because the result is gonna be, we're gonna have to switch the result, to see if there's an error or not. So let's go ahead and do switch result. Let me put it up a bit more so that it's easier. Case success. So if we do have a success, then that's great. We have the text. So let's create this generated text. All right. And just for the sake of it, for now, we just print it to the console. Okay. So print the response from the server is, and let's put generated text. There we go. All right. Oh, by the way, I have an error here. We have the system message twice, obviously. So what I need to do, I'm sure, yes, and I forgot the parenthesis here because this parenthesis is open, but it was never closed. So make sure you close that. All right. Okay. So now it's going to complain that the switch is not exhaustive, meaning that I don't have the failure case. So we have the right now we have the best case scenario. Let's work on the failure case. So right below, I'm going to write case dot failure and put an error in the parentheses. And here we're going to just print it to the console. Print error and display the error. There we go. All right. So let's take all of this and press Control I to if I press Control I, I'm going to make it, to indent it correctly. There we go. Actually, it's not indenting correctly, so there's something going on. Oh yeah, you guys can see that the result. So this is outside of the result. So I need to put this inside. There we go. And Control I, perfect. There we go. All right, all the errors are gone. Now let's run this to test it out. So how do we run this? Well, first of all, make sure you have LM Studio running and we go inside of the server tab and you have a server running on port 1234 and the server is running. Perfect. So we have what we have and what we need. I'm going to press clear so that we have no console logs. And now what I'm going to do is launch the code so that it runs in the simulator, and inside of the simulator, we're going to enter some text. And let it give it a second to run. I see that it's installing in the simulator. So let me open the simulator so that we can see it. There we go. And now let's write a prompt. So let's try to write something hard so that will be made simple because of the system message. So what is let's call what are we what is a lobotomy, just for the sake of it. You guys probably don't even know what a lobotomy is, right? So let's see, send. And whenever we press send, what happens? It says button send tapped. Prompt text is what is a lobotomy. So right now we should see that the backend, excellent. The backend is doing its thing and it got the reply here. I see it. And now if I go back inside of Xcode, I see that the response appeared here, right? So yes, that's great. We have it. Now the next step is to put it on the screen, right? So how do we do this? Well, just stop it for now. And here, when the case is success, we have to display it to the user interface. And that needs to be done on the main thread. So the dispatch queue. So the dispatch queue dot main dot async. And here, what do we want? Open and close the curly brace. So display the response inside of the text view, text area. All right, so the text area name is text area result. So let's write text, so self.text area results, because we're inside of a dispatch queue, so we need a self. Dot text is equal to generated text. There we go. So that should be the final step. Press run again. And now the next step is to give it a shot. So what is an algorithm? Great. So let's press send. And now I just press send. We need a way to know something that's spinning, like an activity indicator, to know that it's doing something. But as you can see, now we have the result. An algorithm is a set of instructions for solving a problem. It's like a recipe for your computer. That's a great answer for an 8-year-old. I'm going to use that actually for my son. That's great. So this is it. We really have all the connection literally from the iPhone app to all the way to the backend as an API of the LM Studio large language model and back to the user interface. Isn't that amazing? Now, I advise you that before going to any further lectures, to just pause for a second, really understand the code. That's very important. Really understand the workflow. And as an exercise, you should try to work on the system message. Very important. Play with this so that you can have ideas of what kind of plugins or framework you can come up with for your apps, or even to sell this to other developers. All right.